Yeah, y'all ready? It's time for the S4 League. We about to explode like a bomb. That's right, put your finger on the trigger. We're just getting bigger. 'Cause here we go, yo. Bring it up so much time.
Yo, what's up everyone, it's me Shiini, and today I'm here with a new video on Xero, and this video is a long time coming. I wanted to make like a full review about Xero, like talk about everything, but I realized that the video was probably gonna be like half an hour long, 40 minutes, something like that. So I decided to put like little pieces, not like really little, it's still going to be kind of a lengthy video, but I think I have to talk about different things in different videos. And first of all, I want to start with a bang. I want to talk about Unlimited, why Unlimited is failing, why it's really bad, why the game is not competitive at all, and all of that kind of stuff. And I don't mean to sound cocky or anything, because I actually feel kind of sorry in a way for the developers and the people behind the balancing team and all of that, because they put a lot of time and effort into the game, but there are some things that they can't change or something, because if the engine is too old and they can't change the aiming mechanic because of that, I can completely understand that, but you can't say that the game is competitive, because sure, the core of the game is competitive. If you think of the touchdown mode, that is really competitive, but the way it's executed mechanically, like the aiming and the shooting and everything, is completely bad. It's not up to standard. It's from 2007, and you know, I would go as far as saying that even in 2011, 2012, this was not a standard. This was really bad for those times. And most of the people that do the balancing and they work on the game behind the scenes, that do the testing, are people that I've actually never competed in highly competitive games like a Counter-Strike, like an Overwatch or something like that. Like I have never gone pro, but I did play at semi-pro level against people that were sponsored, people that were playing in teams, were going on LANs. So I do think that I have the basic knowledge to actually explain all my points and bring a bit more light to the problems that there are in S4 and why the shooting is so bad. And it's really hard to defend, you know, the shooting in S4, the mechanic, the raw mechanic. So there's like a root problem. And if I want to explain everything in our review, this part alone is gonna take me like 20 minutes. So I decided to do like shorter videos where I talk about one particular things. And yeah, this is going to be it. I wanted to start with a bang. It's going to be kind of controversial, but please stay with me, stick until the end, because I'm gonna talk about everything I know, why Unlimited is not being played, why Unlimited is not competitive, why it will never be competitive if it stays the same and it uses the same mechanics from 2007. And I'm gonna bring my explanation. Obviously, I'm gonna show my points, I'm gonna show what I mean, I'm gonna show everything, I'm gonna show a bit of evidence. And keep in mind, this is coming from me. Obviously, it's just my 2 cents, but always remember that I come from a really competitive background, playing Quake, Counter-Strike, Overwatch, Apex Legends, you name it. I play it all, I played it all. And I think I do understand quite a bit about shooting mechanics and how a game is supposed to work to be competitive and to be high level. So I hope you guys stick until the end. Please don't flame me. If you want to have a discussion, come to my Twitch. We can talk a little bit. Just like be chill, dude, because yeah, being chill is what helps the most. And if you are chill, we can talk about it, have discussions, you know, show your points and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, if you enjoyed the video, thumbs up and all of that good shit. If you dislike it, always, you know what to do. And yeah, I'm Shiini, this is it. Let's go with the first part. Alright boys, first part of the video, we're here in the lobby as you can see, and first of all I gotta give you a bit of a background on why I think that Unlimited is not too good and it's never gonna be good. So obviously we are in the lobby of a game, because shortly I'm gonna jump in game and I'm gonna actually show you the way spraying works, the pattern that they have on the Smash Rifle, why it's bad compared to other games, and how they could actually make it better, and then end the video. So, you know, first things first, I want to say that I don't mean to send any hate to the developers or anything like that, because they obviously put a lot of time and a lot of effort into doing this, but there are some things that are rubbing the wrong way. The fact that they were pushing this private server a lot, like being one of the best competitive wise, when they actually didn't change anything about shooting. They didn't make the weapons feel different. They didn't, you know, there's like, for example, a lot of weapons in the game that feel kind of the same and serve no purpose at all, and they're not used, not even like for fun or like being silly weapons or something. And that is like a problem in the game, because I understand you want to have some stuff for fun, especially for this kind of game, because this is mainly a game that is made for fun, and it has nothing to do with competitive, with the kind of mechanics that it has in it. And there are just some weapons that feel really useless. You never see them, you never use them in competitive, they're non-existent, and that is another problem, but I'm not gonna talk about that. I mainly want to focus on the mechanic and on how shooting works. So I think let's jump into a game. I'm gonna show my points. And actually, wait a second, I want to say that actually the balancing of the weapons is actually really good. I think they did a fantastic job with actually balancing the damage output of each weapon, or at least the main ones that get used in the game. And I'm going to show one example of the spray pattern of this of the Smash Rifle. I'm gonna show a thing for the revolver and why the revolver is bad, explain it. And yeah, then I'm gonna have another weapon which I think is the only weapon that is actually good, and that's the sharpshooter over there. So we got Hyperion, and yeah, I can actually show this pretty good, I think, on this map. Not there. Oh, fuck it. Okay, yeah, there. I can definitely show it. So like, if I get the Smash Rifle and I shoot, you can see the pattern of the Smash Rifle, right? You can see it. You can see it's always the same. But you can see how many shots it is, and then it always repeats itself. It's always 4 shots, and it shoots always in the same points. So it shoots middle, top right, top mid, top left, and then again the middle. And you could say, well, this is a pattern. It's pretty good. It's definitely an advancement on how the game worked before, because having this kind of pattern, it's much better than having random shooting in those 9 points around the crosser, and I'm going to explain it in a second a bit more in depth. But it doesn't mean that it's good. It's still really bad, and it's still not up to standard. This is the only game that uses that kind of aiming mechanic, and is really bad. You have the same for the revolver. It always shoots in the same points, and this can be good. It's definitely good. The revolver is one of the only weapons that I feel like having something like this that makes it consistent is what makes it a good weapon. But the other problem that there is with the revolver is that there is a delay to when I click on my mouse to when I get the shot in the game. And you have a 150 millisecond delay, which a lot of people can be like, yeah, you just get used to it and it's good. But that's not like this. You have to think that like competitive games have some standards. So whenever you overlap other competitive games, if you try to transition from one game to another, your skills most likely are going to transition, and you just have to learn like the basics mechanic of the other game if it's a different kind of game. But your raw aim and your raw mechanics are actually going to be the same, and you're going to perform the same after like a week that you play the game and you learn the basics. In S4, if you have played this game for all your life and you practice this kind of behavior, like flicking 150 milliseconds after you actually press the button on your mouse, if you try to go in another competitive shooter, let's say you play in Overwatch and you try to play McCree and you try to flick at people, you're gonna miss so many shots. You're gonna miss at least 60% of the shots, because you're not used to that thing. And to get used to like 0 milliseconds delay to your mouse, to 0 millisecond latency, it's actually gonna take some time. And this is why a lot of people practice on OSU. They don't practice OSU for the aiming of the dots. You practice OSU mainly for the timing at which you want to click your mouse. And it's really good for OSU because you have 0 latency to when you press your button and you have an input on the game. And this is why OSU is really good point and click, and it's really good if you want to practice like flicks and stuff like that, and you want to get a feel for the mouse and you want to get a feel for timing. And that's why the sharpshooter is such a good weapon and it's so strong, and it's hated by a lot of people in the competitive community because they say that it's too strong. But like, the thing is, like, sharpshooter is the only weapon that from a competitive standpoint actually makes sense, and it's actually good. It actually shows the raw aim of a player, and it's actually super consistent how a competitive game should be. And now I'm going to explain a bit more in depth why the pattern is bad, how you can make it better, and all that kind of stuff, why it's outdated and no other game uses that, because S4 is really unique with its shooting mechanics, I think. But sadly, that's in a bad way. We have the problem with the latency. The railgun, which should be an hitscan in my opinion, has a 200 millisecond latency, which is crazy already if you think of a sniper with such a high latency to when I click and when I get the shot. But that's another thing. A lot of people are gonna say that, you know, you just have to get used to it, but that's a really bad point. I want to hear more from that. One thing that you can say though is like, one thing that you can't say is justify the bad aiming with shooting behind the wall shooting. The bad aiming mechanics, the reason why you have wall shooting and it's justified, it's because the way you aim in this game makes defending actually much harder, and it's just stupid, and I'm gonna show why in a short bit. Alright, so we are on Paint 3D as you can see, and we have different kind of patterns. We have Counter-Strike, we have Overwatch, and we have S4. First of all, I want to explain the way it works on S4 and why it's outdated, because it's been the same way since 2007, since the game was released. And the way it works is like, you basically have this 9 dots, right? You have these 9 dots, and the bullets always go in the same place. They always go in these 9 places, you know. And when you see at the pattern of the smash rifle, for example, you see it has like 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4, and it always repeats itself. And this is like a triangle, and it shoots 4 bullets in those same 4 corners. Like, it can be a bit closer, obviously. It can be like right here or right here and stuff like that, because, you know, it depends on how far away the opponent is. So that's another thing that depends on the crowd, but it doesn't matter. It's just to let you understand how the pattern works. So like, it goes there, then it goes there, then it goes here, then it goes here, then it goes there, and then it just repeats itself, right? And you can say, yeah, that's a good pattern. Why is it bad? Well, it's bad because it's not natural. You're never gonna follow this thing like this, and you're never gonna do this kind of movement while you follow your opponent, while you track him. You do this kind of movement 10 times. If you tell me that you actually do that and you get most of your shots, it means that you actually are a robot. If you are close range, you don't even... People in S4, when they are close range, they don't even pay attention to this pattern that they have. And when they are long range, they just aim down and they hope that they get the shot. They don't actually try to follow the pattern, because following this kind of pattern is really stupid. A really good pattern would be like in Counter-Strike, where you have the first couple of bullets are towards the center, and then it starts going down, and then you follow it, and it feels really natural, you know, it's really smooth. It's a smooth transition. The more you shoot, the more you need to pull your mouse down and you go right or left. And the only reason I can think of on why they adopted this kind of pattern is because they can't change it because of the engine. If the engine is too old and you can't change the way you aim in the game, then yeah, it's fine, I can understand it, but there's no point in saying that the game is competitive, because the raw mechanic of how you shoot is bad. This is a root problem in the game, and if you can't change this thing, then it's never actually going to be a competitive shooter. And that's the reason why they say that defending in S4 League is much harder and you need wall shooting, because your first bullets, they don't go in the center and you actually see who has the best aim in the game and gets, you know, the first couple of bullets, he gets an headshot, he gets a lot of damage, and then maybe if he continues spraying, you know, if he controls the spray, he kills the dude, and you can say that he's really good player mechanically. You have like the first bullet is there, then you instantly need to change and you need to follow this stupid pattern which is unnatural, it doesn't make sense. Or you have like the old S4 where it's random and it's all over the place. Something that they did something with the assault rifle where like the first 4 or 5 bullets were in the center and then it went random on those 9 points. And that's still bad. That's not a pattern, but that's still bad. But that was a step in the right direction, because you could actually shoot 4 bullets, then, you know, it spreads the recoil like in an Overwatch. You reset your recoil and then you shoot again and it's again in the center, and by doing that you actually see who is the player with the best aim, because at long to medium range you always burst, but the problem in S4 is that the burst was always dead center, and that was the problem. And at close range you would spray and you would spray everywhere, but only in these 9 angles, and this is the problem. While in Overwatch the first bullet, it's always dead center, with some characters obviously, like a soldier for example, if you shoot 1 bullet it goes to the center, but like if you start bursting it goes to the first to the center and then it spreads a bit in this little circle, and it actually makes sense because at medium range you want to burst because you're still most likely going to get the headshots if you're aiming for the head. But if you spray more, the crosshair is gonna bloom and you're gonna spray everywhere, but randomly. It's not gonna be like in one of those 9 points, it's gonna be completely random, and this is what makes Overwatch such a good game. And then you have different things, like you have, you know, the hit scan like McCree, so like the sharpshooter would be great, and you don't have stupid delay when you shoot a weapon, which is what makes ultimately Overwatch one of the best games mechanically, because it actually has it all. It doesn't actually have a pattern like Counter-Strike, but it's one of the best games that implemented shooting and aiming mechanics, because if you actually look at the Overwatch players, there are some of the players with the best raw aim, and there are some of the players that can better transition to any game they play. If you see an Overwatch player transition from Overwatch to another game, whatever game it is, they're gonna have an insane aim because they're used to aim in such a nice way, and mechanically the raw mechanics that they have is just interchangeable. They can use it in any game. If you play S4 and you want to switch game, most likely you're not going to play good. And this is one of the problems with also the balancing and thing, because the balancing is made by the same 20 people that have been playing S4 League competitively for like the past 10 years in their life, and have never actually played competitive in any game like Counter-Strike, like Overwatch, Apex Legends, you name it. In fact, the only person that I know of that actually went pro in a game is Yukio, and Yukio went pro in Rocket League. He didn't go pro in an FPS, he went pro in a game that is completely different and has nothing to do with FPS. Because if you played your entire life on S4 and you're used to this kind of bullshit aiming that is highly outdated, you're gonna jump in another game and you have to learn everything. As far as positioning goes, yeah, you can learn that. In S4, positioning is actually not too bad, except for the wall shooting, because I explained why that's bad and how it can be fixed easily and make defensive actually more effective. And then there's a whole other problem with weapons and how to balance them and all that stuff, how to change how they shoot, but that's another video that I want to make. This was just the basic. I wanted to lay down the basic on why Unlimited is bad, why it sucks, and why so many people don't like it. Because if you are an OS player that wants to try Unlimited after you played an actual shooter, you go to S4 and you play Unlimited, you start shooting with a revolver or something, you notice the delay and you're like, what the fuck is this, dude? You pick a smash rifle and it has like this weird ass pattern based on those 4 points that don't make any sense. It's just a stupid pattern. And yeah, dude, I know this sounded really mean, I know it, and I know that I'm gonna get a lot of shit for it, But this is the basics for a competitive shooter. And I'm not taking the words out of my ass, because I do have the experience, and I did play many competitive games, mainly Counter-Strike at a kind of a high level, I would say. And yeah, I'm probably gonna get a lot of shit for this, but I feel like this needed to be said. S4 cannot be considered a competitive game when you have a mechanic from 2007 that is outdated. It's just something that has to be said. It's a straight fact, dude. As one of my viewers would say, it's a straight fact. And I hope that at least I get some answer, but not like flaming. I hope that I get some criticism, but like in a good way, like constructive criticism. I don't care if you come to my chat and you're gonna flame and you're gonna say that I'm an idiot and I don't understand anything. It's alright, you're gonna be banned. But if you actually want to have a conversation and defend the aiming mechanic in S4, I can understand it, and I'm actually gonna have a discussion, because why not? We're just talking, we're people. But I don't think anyone can defend this. I don't think it's justifiable to have like a 2007 mechanic in a game in 2020 that is considered competitive by a bunch of people, because it's not that many people that consider competitive. And yeah, it's really hard to defend this kind of thing. And this is why I wanted to make this video, and it's gonna be kind of a bomb on the community, especially the unlimited community and the competitive part of the community that really care a lot about this stuff. But I felt like it needed to be said. As always, I'm Shiini. Smash the like if you like the video, and if you think like me, if you are an OS player, OS gang, you know, let's go. But if you disliked it, you know what to do. And I'm live on Twitch. Again, if you want to have a discussion, we can openly talk about that. Just remember that my chat is not the place to flame, neither is the comment section. But yeah, if you have something to say, just type it. Let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts. It's really important. And yeah, as always, I'm Shiini. Peace out. And yeah, see you in the next one. Bye. That was a nice opening for us.